The story of the burning bush is iconic. God gives Moses a mission: free the Israelites. But a detail in their conversation seems to make no sense. God gives Moses a clear promise, but Moses then asks a question that appears to contradict everything he has just heard. God tells Moses, crystal clear, that the elders of Israel will listen to him. The mission is a go. Yet just a few verses later, Moses goes to his father-in-law Jethro and says this, from Exodus chapter 4, verse 18, "Let me go back to my kinsfolk in Egypt and see whether they are still alive." Wait a minute, God literally just told him they were alive. Was Moses doubting God? Was he being polite to his father-in-law? Or does this strange question reveal a profound secret about what it means to be alive in God's eyes? The answer connects Moses' mission directly to his ancestors, Jacob and Joseph. And it unfolds through a pair of rare Hebrew words that fundamentally change how you read this story. Let's break down this puzzle. On Mount Horeb, God introduces himself as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and lays out the mission. He is explicit about the outcome. In Exodus 3:18, he says of the elders, "And they will listen to your voice." There's no ambiguity. God told Moses the people would hear and believe. So when Moses goes to Jethro and asks to see whether they are still alive, it's baffling. Some argue Moses was being discreet, not wanting to shock his father-in-law with the burning bush story. But in Scripture, pivotal phrases are rarely throwaways. The words, "to see if they are still alive," feel too precise to be a simple excuse. The real mystery is about how Moses understood the nature of his mission. The key to Moses' question is found in Genesis, in the stories of Jacob and Joseph, linked by rarely used words with divine meanings. First, in Genesis 45, when Jacob learns Joseph is still alive, the text says his spirit revived. In verse 28, Jacob declares, "I will go and see him before I die." The Hebrew verb for "I will go" is ve'alecha, expresses deep inner resolve, an emotional turning point where the speaker commits fully to a path often tied to divine mission and legacy. This is the only other time that word is used in the entire Torah. It is a declaration of a renewed spirit. Now fast forward to Genesis 50. After Jacob dies, Joseph asks Pharaoh for permission to bury him in Canaan. In Genesis 50 verse 5, Joseph promises to return, saying, "Then I will return." The word here for "I will return" is ve'ashuva, is another word used only twice in the entire Torah. This isn't just about travel, it's a spiritual vow signaling deep commitment to his divine mission in Egypt. Now look at Moses speaking to Jethro in Exodus 4:18. "Let me go now and let me return. Elecha na ve'ashuva." He is deliberately echoing the exact words his ancestors used, placing himself in their legacy. This ancestral connection is the key, and it dissolves the contradiction entirely once we understand that the Bible discusses life on two levels, physical and spiritual. For 400 years in Egypt, the Israelites were physically alive, but their national and spiritual identity was being crushed by slavery. Oppression doesn't just break the body, it aims to extinguish the spirit, cutting people off from their heritage and hope. When God tells Moses his people are alive, he's speaking of their physical existence. But Moses, in his wisdom, is asking a much deeper question. He's not wondering if their hearts are still beating. He's wrestling with whether their spirit is still alive. Does the divine spark, the memory of the promises made to the patriarchs, still glow within them? Or has it been snuffed out by centuries of darkness? A mission to free bodies is one thing, a mission to reawaken souls is another. This reveals Moses' true concern. He wasn't asking if the Israelites were physically breathing. He was asking if the covenant people were spiritually breathing. He was asking, is there still a Jacob in them, a spirit that can be revived by good news? Is there still a Joseph in them, a sense of divine purpose even in suffering? His mission was not just physical liberation, but national resuscitation. God had assured him they would listen, but Moses, as their leader, felt the incredible weight of this spiritual unknown. He had to see the state of their souls for himself, whether they still responded to God's voice, whether their inner spark could still be reignited. Jacob went to Egypt to reunite with the son. Moses was going to Egypt to reunite a nation of children with their God. Joseph's task was to save the family physically. Moses's was to resurrect them spiritually. So, the seemingly odd question in Exodus 4:18 is a key that unlocks the spiritual drama of the Exodus. Moses wasn't a poor listener. He was a profound leader who knew freedom is more than broken chains. True life is the life of the Spirit, the hope and faith that allows us to answer when God calls. This ancient story challenges us to ask if we are merely existing, or if we are truly alive in the biblical sense, responding to God's voice, grounded in purpose and ready for redemption. If this deeper look at the Bible helped you see a familiar story in a new light, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. We love digging into these hidden connections that show just how unified and deep Scripture really is. Let us know in the comments what other biblical mysteries you've been wondering about. Thanks for watching.